Join Louisiana Right to Life in protecting the vulnerable as we share pro-life stories, insights, and news from the Pelican State. Welcome to the Pro-Life Pod.
Hey friends, welcome back to the Pro-Life Pod. I'm Erica Inzina, Policy Director for Louisiana Right to Life. And today I have a special guest, Katie Mahl, the President of the University of Louisiana Lafayette Pro-Life Cajuns group. And we're just going to talk a little bit about what got you into the movement and what inspires you to keep doing this every single day. So we're really glad you're here, and let's get started. So Katie, tell me about, obviously you're pro-life, and we're going to talk about why that is in a minute. Just tell me about yourself first. Are you from Lafayette?
No.
You're not. Where are you from?
I'm from Folsom.
Oh, yeah.
So the North Shore.
That's where that is. Okay. When I hear Folsom, I think of prison for some reason. Is that a Johnny Cash song?
Yeah.
Like Folsom Prison? Is that in Folsom, Louisiana?
No, I think that's the Folsom in California.
Got it. Okay. See, I rarely see Folsom, Louisiana come up, but when I do, it just makes me think prison.
I always say Covington because it's bigger, and then I'll say a little north of Covington.
Just north of, yeah. I'm from a small town too, so I understand. I just claim the next biggest one. So, and what year are you at UL?
Junior.
You're a junior. What are you studying?
I'm studying ecology, so it's the interaction between animals, the environment, and people, and how we can maintain and sustain this world together.
A very important topic. Yeah. So that doesn't sound like, I guess in some way there is a little bit of kind of like a pro-life ethic and element to that. But, it's not like necessarily like law or medicine or anything. So what got you started in the Pro-Life Cajuns group?
Yeah. So when I was in high school, we had a youth group at my church, and I was in charge of the youth group. So we got an opportunity to go to the March for Life in DC.
Oh, cool.
And so a group of, I think 9 or 10 people, we got to go in 2023. So after Roe v. Wade was overturned.
And that was the first year,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, were you nervous?
I was nervous. It was my first trip far.
Oh,
We took
okay.
a bus. It was a 24-hour bus ride.
Uh-huh.
But it was with people I knew, people who we loved, and we all had kind of the motivation to learn more. It was definitely the first time I saw how much of a movement this was and how much youth was involved as well.
Mhm.
Because we were grouped with other high schools on the buses too. So we got to meet all these other people.
Cool.
And then obviously the march itself and the area we were in, and then LA Right to Life, they had the Go Forth rally. That was the first time I actually learned about LA Right to Life.
Okay.
Yeah. And
That's
so
funny. I think we probably learned about it around the same time, because that's when I was getting very fired up. And I remember thinking I would like to go to this march, but then in the back of my head, I was like, it might be dangerous.
There was a little bit of that, but
Have you been to the March for Life since then?
I did go my freshman year in college.
Okay.
So I did the college student route, so we actually helped. So I actually went in with LA Right to Life to help do Go Forth.
Oh, cool. Okay. So then that would have been 2 years later or so? 1 or 2 years later?
I think it was a year later. So I went back to back.
So when I went for the first time, I went for the first time last year, and I was stunned by how many people were there. I had no idea. I really thought, doing what we do, we see groups of people come out, and it's usually a good crowd, but there was nothing I have ever seen like the number of people at the March for Life. And I was floored by that. We didn't see a lot of protesters. We saw one little tiny group of protesters, and I expected more than that, but it was maybe a group of 5, and that might be generous. And we were quite off the path. So there was no disruption like that. So when you were there the year after Roe v. Wade was overturned, did y'all see a lot of protesters?
There was a few little groups, but they didn't really intervene. It was kind of like how you said.
Okay.
So, but for our side, I think the biggest thing was seeing how many youth was involved. I had never seen so much
energy. I know.
Energy.
There's so much energy.
I felt it in my heart. I felt it in my soul, how much motivation that all this youth had, that when I thought about the pro-life topic, it was just all the old folks who want to get these laws passed.
All the old white men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But really and truly, it was my group, all the people that I met on the bus, all the other people that we met at Go Forth. I mean,
That's really cool.
and it's just sparked something, and I was like, I really want to be a part of this because we're going to keep this going.
Yeah.
When you learn at a young age how important this movement is, to be able to spread it and spread the information around people your own age too, I think that's so important.
I think for me, what I always say is like once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you understand how important and how far-reaching how far-reaching the effects of the pro-choice ethic. You know, we always talk about the pro-life ethic, but the effects of the pro-abortion or pro-choice ethic are throughout all realms of society and all stages of human life and development. I have a hard time seeing how you cannot do something, how you can say like, yeah, I know that's kind of a problem and I'm just going to sit back and not get involved in that. So that's really cool. Do you keep in touch with some of the people that you met on that first bus ride to DC? That's cool.
Yeah, we'll always go back, share pictures if memories come up. We're like,
oh,
I'll remember we were at Go Forth during that time and we were playing these games that they had for us and then obviously the march we'd scoot between each other to try and see everyone and then seeing all the boards on the side at the actual march.
Yeah.
That was really crazy. The actual abortion pictures. It kind of like hits you in the heart.
Was that the first time you had ever seen something like that?
I always knew that it was really traumatic to see, but I think that was how big, and it was just on a billboard, just out, and you can't not see it. Like you were saying, you can't not see what you just saw.
Yeah. So I know some people, there's kind of a rift. Some people feel like the imagery is so vitally important for not convincing, but showing people that this is real. You know, this is not, it's not, first of all, it's not just a clump of cells, right? But it is real and gruesome and devastating. But then others argue that it's, number one, not helpful or important to share that imagery. What do you think?
I think
just personally, not necessarily as a representative of the pro-life Cajuns. So I understand that too.
I think it's very important because people don't see it as what it actually is.
Yeah.
They use emotion, they use all these other feelings and topics to go around it. But when you show them, hey, this is biology, this is facts, this is the truth, you can't argue with that. Sometimes, I mean, I will get emotional about it because it's just so important to see what actually is done. And you can't fake that.
You know, I was thinking about that kind of similarly the other day. You know, I'm expecting my sixth baby, very excited, but you know, in thinking about my connection to this baby who I've never met, I'm not seen except for on ultrasound, never hugged, you know, I don't know who he or she looks like in my family compared to one of the children that I get dressed every single day and feed and sometimes fuss at, maybe a lot of times fuss at every single day. You know, there's definitely more of a connection that I have with those kids than I have with this one. But that's because you know how they say seeing is believing?
Yeah.
You know, so I haven't seen this child yet. I still know intuitively and biologically very much that it is my child. It is a child with dignity and value. But, you know, I know these children. I don't know this one yet. So in a similar way, I can see how it's a lot easier to dismiss the child in the womb. They're a child that you can see the face of, that you can see their eyes, you can see their little fingerprints and their hands and their personality. That's a lot harder to dismiss.
Yeah.
So I tend to agree that we have to see what abortion actually is and what denying the dignity and value of that person that we can't see on the inside yet, what that really means, you know. But anyway, so tell me how you got started in the pro-life Cajuns group. I know you kind of started in high school, which is really cool, but how did you get started in pro-life Cajuns at UL?
When I started as a freshman in 2023, me and my friend, who is actually our social media person for the club right now, so
Okay.
she is also involved. But she saw a Instagram post on just on Instagram, and she was like, "Oh, this is a pro-life group. They have one here? Let's go." And
Oh,
so
cool.
it was like in the afternoon, we walked to the union, and it was me, my friend, and the president that was in charge during then, and it was just us.
Okay.
It was just us.
She's probably so grateful that somebody showed up.
Yes. And we made posters. We made Love Them Both poster. We made pro-life Cajun posters, but we never put them up.
Okay. Why?
We just never put them up. And I mean, I put mine up in my room, but we were supposed to go out and put them up, but it just never happened. So
Yeah.
there was a group on campus, but it wasn't very engaging and it wasn't very out there. You had to kind of dig for it or find it by accident, like Jordan did. But then after that, they did nothing else. So it kind of died down. And then there was another president, and she asked me to be vice president.
Okay.
So that's kind of when my leadership role came into place, and I was helping the past president do events, try and get things done. And then we met Hannah, and I mean, she's been amazing. She's done so much, helping us coordinate things and get us involved in events that we never even knew was a thing.
Okay.
And then we had the gala and the festival, and that was kind of when we started to pick up more, and we had meetings. And, starting off with the meetings, we would put posters out. When we first started having our meetings and promoting our meetings, we would print out posters and put them up places. And it was me and the vice president, now Emily. We would take our whole afternoon and go put up all the posters every place we could. And in a span of 10 minutes, they were taken down already.
No.
Yeah. Visually ripped off to where we can see that pieces were still there, but it was ripped off.
I've heard this story.
Yeah.
Like, it was
Yeah.
like they were trying to send you a message like, we want you to know that we took this down.
Oh, yes. And I mean, we were fighting a battle. We couldn't quite see it. It wasn't anything verbal or physical, but there was definitely that battle of we don't want to be seen. We don't want to be heard. But now we are doing more. We are being more present. We are trying to present ourselves as a group of education. And I mean, I think we're doing pretty well.
You guys are doing a phenomenal job.
Long way to go still. I mean, we still have the board still has about a year. We'll be here for another year, but then we'll have to hand it off. But I think we have a really good stepping point.
Oh my gosh. Can you even imagine the thought of handing it off one day, like after everything that you've built and worked toward?
Collectively as a group, we've done a lot. And
Yeah.
we've to where we are now. And it still feels like not enough. It still feels like we need to connect to more people and we need to keep going. But I think this semester in the spring, I think this is going to be our biggest
Awesome.
semester yet.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I do remember hearing from lots of groups all over and in all sorts of groups, not just, pro-life groups, but all varieties of groups, that COVID was a big damper on their clubs. And it took a lot of effort to kind of come back after COVID, even years later, just kind of like rebuild the momentum. And of course, necessarily in a college group, the administration has to change, it's going to change. And if it doesn't, then the college is doing something wrong. We need to be turning this over every 4 years or so. But yeah, I think you guys have done a phenomenal job of raising it back up and spreading the tentacles. And that's kind of like Mother Teresa says, like you can cast a stone and you might just cast this one little thing, the ripples, and you just never know the effect. And you may never know. That's what's the cool thing about it. You may never know the effect that you have on someone that maybe saw that poster and made a different choice, even if it's a different choice for a moment. And then that choice affected someone else in a positive way, or if it was a serious life-changing choice that they made or life-giving choice that they made from seeing that poster in the moments before it got ripped down. So
I believe that too. That was on my heart definitely during the time of everything getting ripped down and not being seen, but I still felt that I know what I'm doing. I know I'm trying. We all are trying. And, like you said, it might have been one person who saw it, but that's such a difference But we do see these people that are like, "Oh, I didn't even know we had a pro-life group on campus. Like, I want to be involved." And then, we have all these people following the Instagram and you see it in ways and then you don't see it in other ways, but you still know even the smallest bit of production, the smallest bit of doing is amazing no matter what.
Right. And you just never know how you'll inspire someone else to pick up the torch and carry it in a different way. Maybe it's even just having a positive conversation with someone, or maybe they become very active somehow in some capacity in the pro-life movement. And I always think about Hannah when she talks about how you just said she's amazing, and she is. She's a very good activator, but she always talks about how it was kind of something peripherally that, she knew she was pro-life because that was what her family just was, like you just were. But it wasn't until someone took the initiative to invite her to a club meeting that really started the spark, I guess, of the fire that is now burning within her to do something and make a big impact. And so, those little small actions that we do with faith every single day can profoundly change the trajectory of the movement. So that's really cool. So what advice would you have? What is the hardest thing that you've encountered whether it's as in your role as a pro-life Cajun or in your high school role? What's the hardest thing in the movement that you've encountered?
I kind of like a little bit said it on how we started out.
Yeah.
That was definitely the hardest part because spiritually it felt like a spiritual battle. It felt like I was trying to go over a wall. I was trying to break down this wall, go through a door that's locked.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it felt like I just kept being shut down. No, 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 every time until it finally found a little gap and I was able to push all of it away and break through, and now getting so many people who know. My whole thing is I just want people to know what's there. I want them to know that this club is here to educate and to provide, and then you can be a part of it too. No matter if it's the smallest thing, no matter if it's just a meeting or helping at the big events or just knowing and spreading that there's this club that offers these things. I don't have to do the biggest thing. I don't have to be totally, I want this. We don't have to have the biggest speaker here to be seen. I just want people to just know, just a little bit, because.
And coming from where y'all started, I think you've accomplished that for sure. And you still, like you said, you have so much opportunity in front of you in the last, I guess, year and a half of your time at UL. So that's really cool. Okay. So then what advice would you give to someone who is, maybe kind of like Hannah or like a lot of us, just kind of they know abortion is wrong. They know that the right thing to do is to be supportive of life at all its stages and phases and places of development. But they don't know where to start. Maybe they're afraid. Maybe they're afraid of that closed door and don't see the crack yet. What advice would you give them?
Definitely get in touch with someone who may know a lot or may not know a lot, but can still accompany you with maybe starting a club if that's what it is. I know I have a friend who is in Alexandria and he just started his club is it LSUA?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he came to me and asked me for some tips, and I was like, you can start with a trivia night, start with something fun that they could be excited to come to, but also get that education and not be afraid of being shut down, because there was multiple times I could have just stopped and gave up, but I kept going. I mean, it took months and months. It might not show in the very beginning, but in the end, the fulfillment of just the little bit of being seen, the little bit of people knowing is really all it takes, because that's what we're here for, is to be here for others, to let others know. And
you know what is striking to me about your friend in Alexandria, and I'm sure y'all are close friends, and so you probably talk about all sorts of things all the time, but if you had kept it within, kept what you were doing inside, and I sometimes struggle with that too, like, how much do I want to share openly? How much do I want to share outside my very close friend group of what I do? Sometimes I just want to be kind of a silent behind the scenes warrior. But sometimes it's letting other people know what you're doing that inspires them to act. And I hope that the Pro-Life Cajuns is the most successful group at UL, and maybe even the most successful pro-life group in Louisiana or in the country. But what you may have inspired, it may not be your direct doing, but you're inspiring others. You might have inspired him to start a club that does become the greatest club in Louisiana, or inspires a person who goes on to lead the movement in a really profound way. So that's really cool to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, everybody, what do you guys have coming up that people can get involved in?
Yeah, we have actually a pickleball tournament that's going to be in April.
It's going to be so
That's
fun.
going to be so fun.
Yeah.
I think that's one of our biggest events. That would be college students, and the winners get to pick the choice of the money donation to their choice of pregnancy center.
And we're in here in Lafayette, we're so blessed to have several that someone could choose from. That's really cool. Do you guys have any meetings coming up before the pickleball tournament in April?
Yes, we will have 2 meetings, 2 or 3, but we
Okay.
have one next week.
And so where would someone find you guys if they want to find out your calendar, what events are coming up?
Yeah.
Where do they find
We
you?
post everything on Pro-Life Cajuns on Instagram.
Okay, so is it
So-
Pro-Life PRO or PREAUX?
PRO.
PR regular pro.
Mhm.
Okay, so Pro-Life
Cajuns
Cajuns on
on
Instagram.
Instagram, yes.
Got it. Okay. Well, hopefully those who are listening have college-age students who are looking for a place to get involved, maybe feeling the desire to get involved, but just don't know where to go yet. And this is your sign to encourage them to join the Pro-Life Cajuns group at UL. And they can learn more about it at Pro-Life Cajuns on Instagram. Or, of course, if necessary, certainly reach out to us here at Louisiana Right to Life, and we'll be sure to put you in touch with the right people. And also for anybody listening who's just feeling a little bit inspired to start something, let this be your sign to just start something. And even if it takes a long time to grow, you just never know the fruit that it will bear in time. So thanks, Katie, so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I can't wait to see you guys. I know I'll see you before the
Yeah.
pickleball tournament, but I can't wait for the pickleball tournament. That's going to be so fun.
Yes.
All right. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you.